Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. Now, one of the things that's a challenge in a process like this is that sometimes we feel physically ill, or our bodies are uncomfortable, or we feel a vibration, or we feel surges of electrical energy. We feel vibrations. We feel sometimes a little insane. We feel emotions. We feel sad or bad or crazy or angry or rageful. And a lot of times, there, at least for me, there's these times where it's just my body is uncomfortable. It just feels restless, irritable, and discontent. It doesn't know what it's feeling other than I don't like the feeling. I don't like this feeling. And so generally at those times, we either quit, we go back to our normal reality, we take a pause, we indulge in our favorite drug of choice or activity of choice so that we can deal with the restless, irritable discontent, with the pain, with the situation that's showing up. And it doesn't matter how you do it. It's just a matter of, in this particular podcast, I'm focusing on sometimes it feels uncomfortable, and what to do, in a sense, what to do or how to be with it, the times where life in your body feels uncomfortable. So first of all, let me just express it this way. Most of us, if we've been born, we've gone through some trauma, because a birth process for each of us is very traumatic. We've gone through, that's life and death. And then really, literally, at times in the birthing process, our blood supply is cut off and we're feeling suffocated. We don't know what that is other than it's traumatic and we're dying. And so those of us who live through that, which is all of you listening to this, we have this experience of trauma, of those experiences that are nonverbal. And many of us as children also experienced abuse or trauma, and don't have a context within which to kind of know that on a physical embodied experience, other than we call it PTSD. Something triggers us and we start to feel an angst and an anguish and an irritability in our body that we don't like. And so we ignore and avoid or distract ourselves from that. So, and they now are able to show that ancestral traumas, anything that has happened in your ancestry, is in your DNA. So the PTSD could be from your family history that doesn't make sense at all, or it makes perfect sense. Perhaps your family went through Holocausts or other kinds of horrible, terrible experiences that have are decades or generations away from who you are. And yet we carry that vibration with us. And quite often in our consensus reality, or in the way that we be in the world, we are aware of that experience in our body, but we don't give it any attention. We don't give it any opportunity to express itself because it's scary. It's uncomfortable to experience a trauma. And especially if we have a visual memory or an emotional memory of physical or sexual abuse or violations of any kind. But in this moment, we're talking about the body expressing that. And when we give the body a room to have that expression, it's going to want to purge. It's going to want to let go of what doesn't serve it anymore. And when we carry traumas, when we carry fears, when we carry angst, it's not serving us at all. In fact, it's in disservice. Our genetics can't turn on positively to hold healing and healthy vibrations and resources. When we think negative thoughts, when we feel negative emotions, it suppresses our ability to actually heal ourselves. So one of the values, the pragmatic values of this level of work, is that we're clearing out the clutter, the vibrational density that actually keeps us from being the whole person, the healthy person, the dynamic, thriving person that we are and are meant to be. However, I can say that and you go, yeah, that's what I want, but it gets uncomfortable. In fact, sometimes you might feel like you've got the flu. Sometimes I get dizziness and spinniness in my head. Sometimes, pains in my joints or in my abdomen, things that seem unexplainable. Quite often in the purging process, I will start to cough. And that cough can turn into a retching. And it's like my body is expressing out that energy. And so it seems like I'm going to retch or I'm going to throw up, but it's just energy that's coming up and out. And sometimes I'll just spit, if I'm outside, I'll just cough and retch into the ground and just spit, or spit into the toilet or Kleenex or whatever. Or not even spit, just that energy wants to go someplace. And it wants to come out. It can come out in sneezes. It can come out in yawns. It can come out in farts. It can come out in any number of ways. But your body is needing to let go of that energetic density that it's been holding, if not for decades or years, perhaps for lifetimes or generations. So you giving yourself an opportunity to express this is a healing of the past and the present and the future, because whatever you don't carry, your children aren't going to have to carry. You vibrationally shift it for them too, which to me was one of my greatest goals, if you will, is to let go of what's mine so that my kids don't have to carry my poop, my density. But it's uncomfortable, and at times you're going to get scared, and at times you're going to go, oh my God, I think I have cancer. Or, oh my God, I think I have a terrible, horrible disease. And especially now in this time of the coronavirus, you might go, oh my God, I've got the virus. But that fear is an element of this process, because you're going to experience discomfort. And part of our consensus reality says, hey, don't feel discomfort. Go do something about it. Go take some medication, or go have a drink, have some food, go shopping, do something that will take your mind off of this process. And to some degree, that's a good thing, but mostly we're distracting ourselves from the truth of here's what I'm actually experiencing. A friend of mine is in quarantine with her family, and I'm sure this is not true just for her, but for a lot of people. And the environment is toxic for her. She feels like she's got an allergy. And it's because the environment is not one of loving, open expression and acceptance unconditionally. It's more contradictive, manipulative, and they all love each other, but the way it comes across is really uncomfortable. So right now she's in a situation where she has been trying to justify how she's feeling, when the fact is she's actually having an allergic response to the environment that she's in, because of the vibration is denser, lower, fear-based, and then who she is. And so she's acknowledging that, and even in acknowledging this is an uncomfortable situation, it really helps to acknowledge this is an uncomfortable situation. And as we say, it's a big fat be with. She may not be able to get herself out of that environment, but to acknowledge it and accept it, and then maybe create practices which can help her be with herself more clearly in the situation. That's what she'll work out. But to acknowledge it, first of all, that, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable, is the first step. Second of all, I'm uncomfortable not because there's something wrong with me, but because there's a purging or a release or a detoxing of old energies that no longer serve me. We call it cellular memory. And this is one term. There are cellular cysts. That's another term. That the emotional body, that's another term, is expressing itself of stuff that it doesn't need anymore, and expressing the truth of right now, I'm feeling really uncomfortable or sad or mad or bad. So one of the elements of this spiritual immersion process is being with what's uncomfortable, not looking to fix it, heal it, or make it go away, but to embrace it as the truth of your humanness and the dilemmas of being a human in human form. and the insanities of being here on the planet when it doesn't make sense. The insanities of all of the ways that we've contrived perspective and interpretations so to support a reality that really may not be in our best interest. And all of that is part of the, again, as I mentioned in the last episode, of this place of the faith, leap of faith of, can I allow myself to be in this place knowing it's in my highest truth and my highest good, to be purging and letting go of and releasing this. Now, people who continue to ignore and avoid their truth will most likely get a physical disease like cancer, or some autoimmune disease, which is caused by us not attending to what's causing the stress, which is these underlying beliefs and interpretations. So if you're afraid, if you think that you're sick, if you think that there's something really wrong, go see your doctor or your health practitioner, and make sure that you're fine, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's because you're going to feel discomfort. I've been doing this a very long time and have felt incredible pain in my body, incredible pain at the cellular level, and there's nothing wrong. It's just my body is purging what it needs to purge so that I can become healthier and more vital and more thriving. And so there will be times when it's very uncomfortable, and it's your choice to say, I need to see my health practitioner about this, just to clarify and make sure that I'm good, and then keep going. But a couple of other ways, like there's tons of ways of dealing with this discomfort: creative expression, dancing, sound, music, play instruments, do some painting, go outside, jump around, ground yourself outside, breathe deeply outside, open a window if you can't go outside, write, tear things up, clean out a closet, all of those things, anything that is a purging and a process of allowing the expression. And the other element is watching yourself inhibit that expression. Sometimes you're going to have to do that because of the people around you or the level of safety, those kinds of things. But you're at choice in terms of being with that. There are a lot of people, like I said, that are available to support you through this process. I'm one of them. So if you need the support, reach out to people and get that support from a minister or rabbi, priests, nuns, Buddhists, support people, anybody or everybody, a spiritual coach, whoever can be there for you. That's a really, really important thing, is to know that you're not alone and you don't have to go through this alone. There's millions of people right with you in this process. All right. Sending you big hugs. Again, it's Rosie at The Paradigm Shifts if you'd like to leave me a message or comment. And my website is theparadigmshifts.com. All right. Big hugs. Bye for now.